Hello, everybody, and welcome on Sunday for all people who speak English in our social media. Today, we will start the new podcast once a month for people who are working in rehabilitation, the Postural Reset Podcast. As you know, I am a Professor Di Rocca, and I am truly honored to have you here today. This podcast is dedicated to exploring how posture, so often underestimated, plays a central role in rehabilitation, pain, performance, and health. In each episode, I'll be sharing all the experience of 50 years working in postural rehabilitation. If you are a dentist, a physiotherapist, an osteopath, or simple someone passionate about integrative medicine, this is the podcast for you. Today, in our first episode, we'll discuss why posture matters, the forgotten factor in rehabilitation. And trust me, once you see what posture reveals, you'll never treat patients in the same way again. And that is really true. So let's start it. And if you are watching this live, feel free to leave your questions in the chat. I will answer later when it's finished the transmission. Welcome to the Postural Reset Podcast, where we explore how posture influences health, function, and long term recovery. That's very important. Very, very important. We were talking about the body as a functional unit. That's very important to understand. One of the greatest errors in conventional healthcare is fragmentation, treating the body in isolated parts. A knee, a jaw, a shoulder, a foot. We cannot work like this in the new medicine. But the body is not a sum of parts. It is a unit guided by the nervous system, central nervous system, supported by muscular chains and conditioned by gravity. We are always fighting against the gravity. Posture is the expression of how the body interacts with gravity in a stable and balanced way, or how it fails to do so. When a dysfunction occurs, the body adapts, and that is very important to understand. Compensate, shift weight, change tone, posture records. All this is adaptation. That's why posture tells the history of the patient. The story of the patient, remember that. Posture is reflecting the story of the patients. It shows not only what is happening, but why it's happening and where the true problem lies. You have to understand that sometimes the pain is here and the cause is in another part of our body. For example, a forward posture could stem from poor visual convergence or chronic mouth problem, craniofacial dysfunction. A pelvic tilt might originate from dental occlusion sometimes, or from proprioceptive imbalance in the feet. Posture connects all this, and ignoring it means working blindfolded. The missing diagnosis. In clinical practice, how often do we see patients with recurring symptoms even after successful treatments? That's because the underlying postural origin of the dysfunction was never addressed. For example, orthodontics that relapses for dentists after a few years, back pain that returns despite good manual therapy, athletes, why decreased performance despite perfect training. In each case, the real cause may be postural imbalance. And yet posture is rarely evaluated beyond a basic visual inspection. Posture should be part of the initial diagnosis. That is important. Posture is a tool for real healing. Posture is not just a reflection of musculoskeletal balance, it's also a diagnostic map and therapeutic tools. When integrated into rehabilitation, it allows you to understand the compensation patterns, identify the primary dysfunction, reprogram the body through the primary dysfunction, reprogramming the body. That is the problem. The bed in our school is working on it. That is important as a conclusion. Now, that is the first podcast, and we will do more and more. No, that's a conclusion. In summary, posture matters not just as a visual pattern, but as a functional signal of deep imbalance. It tells us where the body is struggling, why symptoms persist, and how we can truly rehabilitate. In this podcast, in all of them, I will show cases, tools, protocols to integrate. Follow us in the in the YouTube channels and in the other socials, and every month we will treat different cases, different topics related with the postural rehabilitation. Take care, have a nice Sunday, and I see you in the next podcast.